Welcome back to the Ford Sports Sunday. We're bringing our friend Brian Whindhorst from ESPN, who's been helping us out with the playoffs, all playoffs long. Brian, let's talk about the Cavs and Hawks right now. Your thoughts on this series as the Cavaliers head into Game 1 on Wednesday night?
Well, I think what the Cavs are really going to be spending these next 2 days really doing is getting ready for the Hawks is preparing for the defensive differences that they had against the Bulls. You know, Derrick Rose was obviously their #1 option, and there were times where Kyrie Irving couldn't handle him because of his bad foot and his bad knee, so they were able to bring Iman Shumpert on him, and that was very effective. There were times when Iman Shumpert was very good. Problem is, the Hawks have an all-star point guard, just like Derrick Rose, in Jeff Teague, and they have a really good backup in Dennis Schroeder. So you can't really bring Shumpert out there all the time because they have Kyle Korver, who's the most dangerous three-point shooter in the NBA. So how the Cavs are going to balance this out is I think they may go back. Maybe they may not start this way, Andy, but they may go back to that lineup where they only start one big man. And they can put, now they have J.R. Smith to start this series, they can put their 4-wing lineup on the court. You can have LeBron James guard Paul Millsap, and you can do some other things with that. The Hawks were a dynamic offensive team during the regular season. So many games we saw them look awesome. In the playoffs, teams have been able to prepare for them a little bit better, and they've been able to slow them down. But there's still that team that throws 4 passes, and all of a sudden there's a guy standing wide open under the basket. You got to prepare for that, and you got to work on matchups. So I think defensively, the Cavs have a lot of work to do in terms of preparation, and David Blatt's going to earn his money in this series, working with changes and adjustments he needs to make to figure that out. There's going to be times where the Cavs get embarrassed on defense, where the ball moves and the Hawks score 8 out of 9 possessions, and you got to call timeout and figure it out. But offensively, I think the Cavs have some great advantages here. The Hawks are not as good of a defensive team classically as the Bulls are. DeMarre Carroll is one of the breakout players of the NBA. He's having a great year. He's having a great playoffs, but he can't handle LeBron James. If LeBron puts pressure on him and gets him in foul trouble, the Hawks don't really have a recourse. The Cavs are going to be able to move the ball with their spread offense on the Hawks. They don't have great rim defenders. They're a little bit smaller than compared to the Bulls. They don't have that great depth at the big man spots. So where the Cavs, I think, will struggle on defensively, I think they will have some great advantages they'll figure out going into the offensive side.
The Cavs are going to need to take care of the basketball in this series. I mean, LeBron can't have 6, 7 turnovers in a game because they will make you pay every game.
Andy, you're so right about that. If you turn the ball over against the Hawks, not only is it going to be a basket, it's going to be a beautiful basket. You're going to see the perfect 3-man weave run. Everybody's in the right spot. They can run it in the dark. The Hawks are maybe the best coached offensive team in the league. So you turn the ball over, you're done. Also, they have great speed, so you're not going to be able to run them down. So definitely that's a factor. And also, you're going on the road to start the series. So you're going to have to deal with the emotions of the fans. It's not an intimidating environment. Chicago, you were there. You know how intimidating it is. It does get loud there in Atlanta, but it's not that intimidating. So that's another thing. If they can go down there and get Game 1 or Game 2, get control of the home court advantage in this series, I think it would be a great advantage for them.
What did we learn about David Blatt in this series? I think he, you talk about a roller coaster series. David Blatt had the roller coaster series. At one moment, you're calling a timeout you don't have. You're putting LeBron in on an inbounds pass, which you had done on plays before throughout the regular season. But now suddenly you're under the scrutiny and the microscope of the playoffs, and people are like, whoa, what were you even thinking? LeBron had to go in there and call that play. But in the end, he made all the right decisions.
Let's be honest. If he had been granted that timeout, his career in Cleveland may be over right today. But he wasn't granted the timeout, okay? So he wasn't. So let's move past that. Here's what I know. 2 times the Cavs lost games in the series against the Bulls. Both times they required adjustments. Game 1, there was a pick-and-roll disaster defense. After Game 3, Kyrie Irving dealing with that situation. David Blatt made lineup changes, made scheme changes. They worked. In this postseason, David Blatt is 2-0 coming off losses and 2-0 in elimination games. That right there is how you evaluate a coach, is how he handles it under pressure. The team was down 2-1. Kyrie is limping around. I thought the Cavs were in serious trouble. He was a steadying force. That day in Chicago, he gave the team the day off of practice. He said, you know what? We're going to fly in a yoga instructor and relax. It worked. The Cavs came out and played well enough to win in Game 4, and then were awesome in Game 5 and 6. So David Blatt, even though he has not been perfect, he hasn't been perfect since November, he did get it done. And so you have to say, all right, he's doing his job so far.
All right, quickly. One thing LeBron James needs to make sure that they can win this playoff.
More efficient shots. The Cavs, too many one-pass possessions. Against the Hawks, if you move the ball around, you're going to be able to get a good shot against them. Be the LeBron James who's more efficient. Be more like the LeBron James Game 5 than LeBron James Game 2, 3, 4.
All right, Wendy, we will talk to you on Wednesday night when the Cavaliers take on the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. We've got more of the Ford Sports Sunday coming up right after this.